Hello, welcome back. So it is, was it? I was gonna say July 2nd. I'm pretty sure it's July 3rd. I honestly feel like summer hasn't really started, well, didn't really start until like 2 weeks ago when I was on vacation, because even before I went on vacation, the weather was like cold some days and like hot other days. I think right now it's been like consistently hot now that it's finally July and it was like the last week of June. So now it feels like summer to me. Now that it feels like summer for me, I am more in the mood to like read books that like take place in summer, or books that just give me a little bit of like summer vibes. Maybe they don't necessarily take place in summer, but they take place in like a warm location. So that's kind of the point of today's video, is that I'm going to be giving you all of my summer book recs, all the books I plan on reading this summer. So yeah, I'm wearing my hair natural today. The reason I have it tucked back is I was just doing my makeup and I like pulled some hair forward and I was like, wait, this actually looks kind of cute. From the back, it looks crazy. If it looks bad, don't mind it. I think it looks really good. I wish I had like a little bit of like a better clip to put my hair in, but I don't. So we're gonna deal with this. And also, again, don't mind my AC. It is July. It's like almost 90 degrees out. That AC has to be on. And we're just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, the AC doesn't know that I'm trying to film a video. So we're gonna have to deal with it. Also, I got my nails done, what? Probably like a week ago. And my thumb fell off. So, if you see the lone thumb, don't mind her. Let me grab the books that I have read for summer, my summer reading recs, and yeah. Also, if you watched my bookshelf organization video, you know that I like separated all like my summer books into one section. So that's pretty easy to pull all of them out. Also, if you haven't watched it, I think you should go watch it. Yeah. Majority of these books I have read already. If not, I'm currently reading one of them, which is Say You'll Remember Me. So, which I'm only on what? Page 77, and I am in love with this book already. She just does it every single time. I need to get more books by her. So, majority of these books are going to be books that I've already read, and these are books I've read probably over the past 3 summers, because that's when like I really started, well, 3 or 4 summers, because that's when like I really started like collecting my books and buying them. So, and they all kind of range from like, I guess, more 18 plus mature books to books with little to no smut, very wholesome, very good if like you're in a reading slump and you need to get out of it, or like some of them are very good if you just want like kind of like a filler book in between like reading like a heartbreaking book and needing a little break before going again into a heartbreaking book. So the first book is The Summer of Broken Rules. I think I read this book probably like 2 or 3 years ago, I think. I remember really liking it. But I don't remember there being any smut in here, so if you're looking for a book without that, this is perfect. The book is basically about this character. Her name is Meredith. She lost her sister, I think, what was it, like 18 months ago, so a little over a year, and this book is about her trying to kind of gain her life back in a way, and like learning to navigate her life without like her new normal, like learning a new normal without her sister. So to do that, she goes on her annual family vacation, and her whole extended family is there because I think one of her cousins or a person in her family is getting married. So this is the time where she's like, okay, I'm gonna kind of rejoin that family dynamic, society, whatever. So she is very single in this book because she was just dumped. Maybe she was dumped in the first chapter, but I know she goes to this vacation single. And also, with their annual family vacation, the family also does this like giant game of assassin that like takes up basically their whole family vacation. And I think they're allowed to do teams, or you're allowed to make alliances. And the alliance she makes is with one of the groomsmen in the wedding. So she meets this groomsman, and in ways he helps her a lot, like navigate this, but she also like navigates her new normal, but she also puts in a lot of work herself. While I do love characters meeting like a significant other and like learning to grow with them, I also like when female characters also grow on their own, if you get what I'm saying. Like, they don't need them. The man may help them grow, but they put in the work themselves, and it's not just him, like knight in shining armor, if you will. But I really like this book. It was very bittersweet because also it's gonna be sad because she's at this like whole family vacation and she's missing her sister, and she grew up with her sister going to these like family vacations and playing this game. I'm pretty sure in the book it says that her sister was very good at this game, so she kind of makes her goal to win it for her sister. So I think that if you're looking for a very wholesome read, there's not a lot of pressure on it. Like, yes, like there's some bittersweet and sensitive themes, I would say. The sensitive theme is sibling loss, but I think it's very wholesome, an easy read, so highly recommend. So the next book that I recommend is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Listen, I haven't read this book probably in like 4 or 5 years, so I don't remember all of it. I remember liking it. Now that time has passed, it's not my favorite book ever, but if you're looking for a summer read, I would definitely read The Unhoneymooners. It's about these characters named Olive and Ethan. I think Olive is the maid of honor and still on the wedding theme, but Olive is the maid of honor. Ethan, what's the main groomsman called? Best man. Olive is Olive's sister and Ethan's best friend. They're getting married, or his friend is getting married, and Olive and Ethan do not like each other, so it's enemies to lovers. And what happens is all the guests get sick at Olive's sister's wedding, and including Olive's sister and her newly husband, so they can't go on their honeymoon trip, but everything's paid for, like expenses are all like done, like everything is set up, so they can't cancel this vacation. So Olive and Ethan have to like do like a temporary truce in order to both be on the vacation, because they both want this free vacation that's already paid for, and neither one of them want to give it up. So they basically live together. They have to play the part of like the married couple and whatever. So I think it's a good book. Not my favorite of Christina Lauren's. Christina Lauren did write one of my favorite books, which is Love in Other Words, which I highly recommend too. But yeah, it's not a bad book. It's an easy read too. So yeah. So I would say this one is more like 16 plus. I think there may be a little smut in here, but I cannot exactly remember. The next 2 books I'm going to recommend are both by Emily Henry. It's People We Meet on Vacation, which is getting a movie that I think is supposed to come out in October, January, like somewhere around there, which I think is a little weird because this takes place like in a tropical place. And Beach Read. Honestly, I'm going to be honest, I don't really remember much about these books. I know that I read them around the same time, and I liked Beach Read a lot more than I liked People We Meet on Vacation. People We Meet on Vacation is about Alex and Poppy. They have been best friends for a long time, and they're very opposite of each other. Like, very opposite. I think Alex is more like introverted, like studious, whatever, and Poppy is very much like extroverted and like wild and whatever, but that's what makes them work, I guess, as best friends. And they kept on going on vacations together every single summer. 2 years ago, something happened. Don't know what. I don't know if you can guess, but something happened and it kind of changed their relationship dynamic. So where this book takes place is that Alex and Poppy decide to go on another trip together, and they're kind of like working through their dynamic. It wasn't a bad book. Emily Henry writes very good books, but this was not my favorite, but it's not a bad book. And if you want to read something in the summer that's very easy, I would say read People We Meet on Vacation. And also, if you want to watch the movie, which is coming out soon, this is your time to read the book. I really liked Beach Read, probably my favorite Emily Henry book. So in this book, there's these 2 authors. They both write very different types of books. Also, their names are kind of funny in this. It's Augustus and January. Augustus writes literary fiction and January writes romance, so very opposite books that they both write. And at this time, they're both kind of in a rut, like they don't know what to write, and they both have their own deadlines. So they decided to write a book in each other's genre, and in order to do that, they kind of took each other on like a tour in a way. You know how authors go to places to get like inspiration? That's what they did. So January showing Augustus like rom-com worthy places to for him to get inspiration on his book, and then vice versa. Augustus is showing January things so that she can get more in the vibe to write a book in his genre, if that makes sense. I really like the book. I like the banter because they are two very polar opposite people. I always vibe with that. I always love when characters are opposites. I think that's how they work. But yeah, I liked Beach Read a lot more than People We Meet on Vacation. Both are still very good books. Both are standalones and are very good books to read in summer. Also, cannot remember if there is really any smut in it because I don't really remember. I'm going to assume that maybe there's like a little bit, not a lot, so don't worry about the overly smutness of these books because there's not any, basically. Well, the next one is a book series that I feel like at this point we all know the final season is coming out very, very soon, and it is the Summer I Turned Pretty series. We all basically know what this is about, but if you do not know, it's about Belly, or Isabella. She goes with her family friends every single summer to their house. I think, isn't it Massachusetts? I forget, but she goes every summer to her family friend's house, which is her mom's best friend's family. Her mom's best friend's name is Susanna. Susanna has two boys, which is Jeremiah.
Shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that?
And Conrad.
What do you give me if I do?
Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers.
And Belly has had a crush on Conrad for a very long time. And this summer is where she grows up and looks a little different. She went through puberty and whatever, so this summer she essentially turned pretty, and this is just a roller coaster of a good love triangle between Belly and the two brothers. So I highly recommend. I do really like the way that they did the series, but like the TV series. We're gonna see how they ended though. But it's a very wholesome series. I definitely recommend reading these before you watch the show. Or how I did it was I watched season 1 and then I read all of the books. But if you want to do it like chronological, you can like read the book, watch season 1, then read the second book and watch season 2 and do it like that. I think either one works, but I do like, while obviously the plots are the same, you get a lot more information in this book. There's some added characters and like themes or like problems in the TV series that are not here, and there's some things in here that's not there. I do like some of the changes that they made for the TV series, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of information in here, so I highly recommend reading the books. To change up the vibe a little bit, I read this book, I'm gonna say a year ago, maybe like last summer or like 2 summers ago. I'm pretty sure it was last summer. No, it was 2 summers ago. But I really like this book. It's a single dad nanny trope, and this is when I was very much on a single dad nanny trope kick, and I got on that same kick last summer too. But I highly recommend reading In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. This book is about Shay. Her step-grandma had just passed away and left her this full tulip farm, but she only gets to keep it under 2 conditions, and the first one is that she has to move to her hometown, and second, that she has to get married within the year that she inherits the farm, which Shay does not want that since she just got her wedding called off by her fiance. So she's very much, okay, I'm gonna be like single now, I'm gonna do my own thing, boss girl, yes. And then her grandma was like, so you thought, like, no, you're getting married. If you want to keep this farm, you're getting married. And she wants to keep the farm. So she moved back to her hometown, and basically she's playing bachelorette for a second because she's looking for someone who's going to marry her within a year. Her main love interest is Noah. Noah is a single dad, but the kid is not his it's his niece, and he had a crush on Che for a very long time since they grew up together, and they kind of meet up again, and the rest is history. You're gonna have to read the book in order to find out the rest. All I can tell you is that I really, really did love and enjoy this book. I was very unsure of it at first because I didn't hear a lot of reviews about it. Nobody, I feel like, really talks about it, or at least that I've seen. But I highly recommend reading In a Jam if you love the single dad trope and like nanny.
Wait a damn minute.
I just realized, I don't know why I said nanny. This is just single dad trope. I think I'm looking at another book that I have that's also single dad trope, and I'm thinking it's nanny, but no, it's not nanny trope, it's just single dad, but still very much good. So I highly recommend. Next two books I recommend, I like both of them a lot, but I do have to warn you, they are both very much smut heavy. So if you're somebody who does not want to read about smut or doesn't like it in a book, I still like the plots of these books. I think they're very good. But if you're someone who likes to stay away from smut, I would not recommend this. But if you're someone who doesn't really mind it, Tessa Bailey. So Tessa Bailey is kind of known for her smut books a little bit, but her stories are great, so it's good. So her books, the books I recommend are It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. It Happened One Summer is I guess you could put them, they're both standalones, but Hook, Line, and Sinker is about characters from, well, side characters that were in this book. So the main character is Piper. Piper is very much, I'm going to say, a Paris Hilton character, very much paparazzi, partying, wild child, whatever. And something happened, and now her stepfather's like, okay, no, you're cut off, and I'm sending you to a small town. So that's where she gets sent to, and she's very much not used to small town life. Like, she's bringing her like designers and everything, and for people in like in a small town, I think it's like mainly for like fishing and everything, where like everyone's like, okay, like what are you doing here? And this is very much grumpy sunshine trope because she meets one of the grumpiest characters I have ever read about in my life. So she runs into Brendan, a very grumpy fisherman, and they know that they have this kind of chemistry in a way. They're very much opposites again. They have this chemistry, and it's kind of like, what are they going to do with this chemistry while Piper adjusts to her new small town life. I did really like this book, so I recommend. Now, Hook, Line, and Sinker is about Piper's sister Hannah and another fisherman. I think his name is Fox. Yeah, it was always like an odd name, but his name is Fox. He's very much a flirt, very much like that playboy of the small town, and he flirts with Hannah, but she doesn't really reciprocate it. Like, she's one of those immune people to it. So they have a little bit of a connection, and this whole book is just kind of seeing what they do with it. So the next book that I recommend, this one of my all-time favorite books. I love it so much. It's a standalone, and words cannot describe how much I love it. I've actually been debating on rereading it for a while now, and I actually may do it this summer. It is Archer's Voice. If you have not read this book yet, it is 2025. You need to read it. It's so good. Okay, so this book is about Bree. She just moved to a small town in Maine after something traumatic happened to her. So she kind of wanted a little bit of like a reset in like a calmer town. And in this town, she meets Archer. Archer does not speak. He had something traumatic happen to him when he was younger, and you're gonna know the backstory when you read the book. You're gonna know also Bree's traumatic event if you do read the book, but they both have gone through their own trauma, and they met each other, and they're navigating how to work their relationship, or even what their relationship is. A lot of the people in the small town have kind of shunned Archer, and Bree's kind of like the only one that's like, okay, like why is everyone acting weird with you? And I don't want to give too much away, so that's kind of all I'm gonna say. But it is a very good book if you're looking for a more like heartfelt, more emotional book to read this summer. I highly recommend reading Archer's Voice. It is just one standalone, so you don't have to worry about a series. I highly recommend reading Archer's Voice. Definitely, I think it did make me cry when I read it, but it was so good. highly recommend. So the next books I recommend are a series. Now, during the summertime, I always will recommend a small, I don't know why, but small town romances just for me belong in like summertime. Like I love reading small town romances during the summer. This is the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. I have read all these except Wild and Wrangled. I still need to read that, and I'm pretty sure Wild and Wrangled is going to be my next read after I finish reading my current read that I just started last night. But this series is about siblings, and they're each individual love stories. I did really, really like this series, and if you are a Chestnut Springs fan or an Elsie Silver book fan, I highly recommend this series because they do have a lot of similarities, even though there are different storylines. I found comfort in these books, especially after I finished the Chestnut Springs series, which I absolutely love, which I also will recommend to read in the summer. I just did not pull it out for this video. But yeah, these are interconnected standalones. You don't have to read one to understand the other. But if you want to know about different couples that are mentioned in these books, I highly recommend reading all of them. And also, these covers are so cute to me too. Like, I love some pretty covers, but I highly recommend these books. Still have not read this one, but I'm very excited for it. These next books that I recommend, I literally recommend them all the time, especially when I'm talking about reading in the summer. And it's basically all Carley Fortune books, especially this one. I have not read Every Summer After, maybe in like 2 years, but I still think about it daily. If you like Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, I highly recommend reading this book since they kind of have the same theme of going back and forth from the past to the present, and childhood friends to lovers. How Carley Fortune lays out her books, well, first of all, she releases a new summer book every single summer, but how she works them is she does back and forth, past and present, which I know some people don't like, and sometimes I don't like it. Actually, no, I'm lying. I actually really like that. Like, I was thinking about the books that I've read that have past and present, and I've eaten all of them up. So, I lied. But I absolutely love Carley Fortune. I love her books. These two so far are my favorite. Every Summer After and The Summer Will Be Different. They're just very good summer books. This one's Childhood Friends to Lovers. This one, it's Best Friend's Brother. This one, I don't really remember the theme. I think she met this guy a few years ago and she still thinks about him, or like they like spent like a summer together and then they haven't since and they meet up again. I don't really remember, but I was kind of disappointed in Meet Me at the Lake because I was like expecting, I don't know, I was kind of expecting more since I was coming off the high of Every Summer After. Well, I still like this, but when you have such an amazing book like Every Summer After, and I'm not even like joking about this because I recommended this book to one of my friends who does not read a lot, and I recommended it to her, and she has reread it almost 6 times now. She has also read all other Carley Fortune books because of this one book. Like, even if you're not a big reader, I highly recommend. And I think there's barely any smut in here. Like, there's really nothing. So, don't have to worry about that. Like, it's purely plot and it's so good. Like, I remember flying through this book when I read it. So, highly recommend. Also, if you like this book, I recommend these. I did really like this one. The Summer Will Be Different. I read it last summer, ate this one up too. Meet Me at the Lake was a little harder for me to read. That brings me to a book that I literally just bought today, and that the same friend that I recommended Every Summer After to literally told me, she's like, you need to get this book, her new book that she just came out with. And she didn't just come out with this. It came out 2 months ago, I think. It came out on my birthday, which is May 6th, so. But this is called One Golden Summer, and it is actually following a character that we saw in Every Summer After. So I did not know that until I was at the beach with the same friend who read Every Summer After multiple times, and me and her were talking about books, and she was telling me that how she liked One Golden Summer, and she was talking about the character that was about, and I'm like, it's about him? Because normally when it comes to like some books, especially Carly Fortune books, I just start reading them. Like, I don't really need to know the plot, I just want to start reading them. This is a continuation of one of the characters, so I'm very excited to read this. And yeah, I actually think I may start reading One Golden Summer on the same vacation, because I go on this annual vacation, that I read Every Summer After on, which I think is kind of crazy to me because they're basically connected. Now, the last books that I would recommend are my current read, and then a book that I read. Did I read this? A book that I read last summer, and it is Just for the Summer. I love the cover. I think it's so pretty. And I'm currently reading Say You'll Remember Me. I love these books. Honestly, I mean, I only started this book, but I love it so far. And I did like this book, I do have to say. It did take a little bit for it to grow on me, I'm not gonna lie. I think the author does a very good job of making it rom-com, like but also very real, but also there's also like traumatic events in there. I don't know how to word this, but I feel like she just works everything in very well. I don't know if that makes sense, but everything just comes together very well. The book seems very natural, but there are mature themes in here, so I would definitely look at like some trigger warnings before reading this book, and I would definitely say it's definitely for a more mature reader. But I think this book is so good. How it's written is really great. And I also think that's kind of clever too, because the two main characters, they both have the same issue where they start dating someone, and then right after they like break things off, that person that they just dated gets married. And the main love interest, which is Justin, he created this whole like Reddit post about his problem, and Emma, who's the girl love interest, or the main character, or I guess they're both the main characters, but Emma saw this Reddit post and responded and was like, I have the exact same issue. So they decided that what they're going to do is they're going to see what patterns align. So for this book, they have to go on like 4 dates and do these like specific things that they've done with other people, and kind of like create the pattern. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but create the pattern that they've done for all their other dates, and then break it off, and then see if they meet the one that they are gonna marry. You know, like kind of like jinx the system since they both go through this. So it is like, I love the plot of it. I think that's so clever. I think it's so good. And little do they know, or little does the reader know too, there's a lot more that goes into this book. Like, you hear that and you're like, oh my god, what a cute little rom-com. No. I mean, it is, but also there's some themes in there where it's like, oh, that's also happening. So I highly recommend reading this. Definitely look at the trigger warnings though, I'm gonna warn you. For Say You'll Remember Me, I'm going to be honest, I kind of just picked it up. Like, I knew I liked Just for the Summer, and I heard everyone raving about this book, so I didn't even read what it was about. I just started reading. So how these two characters meet, so it's Xavier and Samantha, I think is so cute. He's a vet, and she comes into his office for an animal. I'm trying not to give anything away. Obviously, she comes in for an animal, and he's very grumpy, and she's like, okay, this guy's hot, but he's really grumpy, but like, I'm low-key into that. And they decide to go on a date, and their date is so good. Their chemistry's there. They match each other's vibes very well. But Samantha, in her head, she was like, oh, I'm just gonna go on this date with a guy and it's gonna be whatever, because her family is having issues right now. She needs to be there for them, and she didn't tell Xavier before they went on the date because she didn't expect to happen. Like, she didn't expect such a connection with him, and now she kind of has to break it to him that this can't go further. Like, she needs to be with her family right now, and she can't commit to a relationship. And that's actually basically as far as I've gotten in this book. I just read till after they finished their date, so I will update you guys on how much I like it, but so far I'm in love with it, and I'm not even 100 pages in. My feet are actually so like cramped up right now by how I've been sitting. Oh my god, I'm getting like another cramp. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's very much like a short little video. I was just thinking about making it because I'm like officially getting out of my reading slump, and we're like officially in summer now. Like the sun is shining, it's hot out, we're going on vacation, we're going to the beach, we're wearing our natural hair. I decided, you know what, let me recommend some of my favorite summer books that I've read, or just books that I've read during the summertime that I think is very fitting. But let me know if you guys have read these books, what you think about these good books, if you guys have any recommendations for me, because I am always taking recommendations for a good book in the summer, or just any book. I do notice that during the summertime I don't really like committing to series. I like doing like standalones and that's it, unless a series is like continuing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have a very good 4th of July, and yeah, enjoy your summer, because summer only lasts what, a few months, so enjoy your summer, read all day. Thanks for watching. Bye!